Hello, Fundamentals of Art students. I know that I showed you this demo before spring break started, and I was going to show you more when we came back from break, which obviously did not happen because the COVID-19 virus has got us all at home. So I'm doing my best to do a demo for you today. And I'm doing this as a review. Some of you weren't there that day. And this is our negative space or negative shape study. And it entails a lot of different things. As I told you before, we've studied different mediums and also the different elements and principles of design in this class. And so this assignment will entail many. We'll learn about color, negative space, negative shape. We're going to learn action painting, just many different elements. Shape, one of the elements is shape. Line, obviously I have to use line to make shapes. We're going to learn about the contour shape, color placement, balance. Everything kind of rolls into this one assignment. As you'll see as we progress and do more, you'll see how all the elements start coming into play. Now this is a heavy duty watercolor paper. It's a 400-pound, and I soaked mine in the bathtub for about 5 minutes to get it nice and wet before I put it down. And I put mine down with watercolor tape on a watercolor board. If you don't have any, I'm sure you don't have this, but you can use masking tape. If you don't have a board, you might just do it on your kitchen counter, a Formica or a soft top table. Just tape it down to your table while you're working, and keep it taped down as long as you can. If it comes back up, you can redo it. This will keep it stretched and help it not curl up as much as we're painting. This part of the demonstration is how we're going to get our background. And as we're talking about it as I'm showing you how to paint, I will refer to this background, even after it has paint on it, as the negative space. Right now it's just blank. There's not any positive shapes on it, so we just have our space. So I'm going to show you how to get the background started. And you need to have 2 jars of water. And I'm going to make, this is a 13 by 21. Some of it is going to be cut off a little bit on one side of my view. This is as close as, this is a size I could get to where you can see me as I work. So anyway, get you 2 things of water. One is to clean your brush in, to keep it clean, and one you keep your water clean to dip your brush in for when you want to dip into another color. So this is our action painting. Now when you do yours, you can do whatever colors you want to. I like to I'm wanting to kind of stay with cool colors because I want to make it look, because I'm going to have a lot of hot colors into my painting itself. And so I'm going to keep a lot of cool colors. This is called action painting. This is what Jackson Pollock does. My paper is nice and wet. You tape yours down, get it wet. I soaked mine, or you can take a sponge and tape your paper down and get it nice and wet and sponge it like this. See, I shouldn't already do it. I've got paint on there already. I just wanted to show you what I did too. But it doesn't matter. If I wanted to start again, this is okay. So get it good and wet because you want it to bleed. Now this is one of the new things you're going to learn with watercolor. If you haven't done watercolor, this is called wet on wet, because I'm going to apply wet paint on wet paper. So I'm getting some color over here, and I'm going to sling it and get some background colors and let it bleed and let it just do what it wants to do. Let it flow into that water. It's going to bleed and do all kinds of things. Now you can, like I say, you can do any color you want to. This is up to you, what colors you want to use. So I'm purposely going to choose some cool colors, maybe a few other hot colors too. Actually, on the cheaper paper, it bleeds a little bit better. This is a heavier paper, and it's not bleeding as much. But it doesn't matter. And I would not get too much on the negative space doing this. If you get too much, it'll interfere with your pattern for your project. The next thing you're going to do, you can think about this while I'm doing my action painting, is what shape you're going to do. You're going to make a shape and cut it out on a cardboard, if you just do paper, it's too hard to trace around. You're going to make your pattern so you can trace around it. It has to be something that you can tell what it is by the outside of just the contour of the object. Now that's where we go to learn more about contour drawing and the contour lines. Because, for instance, if I say, okay, I want my shape to be a smiley face, that's not going to work because you have to paint the smile inside the smiley face for it to look like a smiley face. All it would look on this assignment, it would just look like a circle, which would be boring. So whatever shape you choose, the shape itself, without putting anything on the inside, must define what it is. Like you could do something as simple as a heart, or I'm going to do a gecko because I've got a friend that wants me to paint a gecko. So I just thought, well, and that's one thing I haven't done in a demo is a gecko. So that's what I want to do. Now I've got all these nice, cool colors going. I'm not going to get too crazy. I want just enough to have a good, interesting background. It's never the same twice. You can see every time you do this, it's going to be different. There's no control over how you can do it. If you don't know who Jackson Pollock is, I want you to look him up and look up the term action painting and see what it's all about. Oops, that's a little dark. That's kind of dark. That's all right too. I can have some of it dark too. Like I say, it's going to be a little bit different. And I think I'm going to add just a few warm colors just because I decided I wanted to. But not too many because I'm going to use that mostly in the gecko, I think. Even though they're cool, I'm just wanting to make mine what we call arbitrary colors. That's another term that you need to learn about. You can look up in your book what the arbitrary colors and see what that means. I think most of you know about it, but good thing for you to learn. There we go. A few little warmer, a little bit hotter on the hotter scale. See how these are bleeding? That's because I'm doing wet on wet, okay? Now this has to dry completely before I do the next step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down the video and wait for this to dry, and then we'll pick up again on the next session after it dries.